Welcome to Honestly Speaking, a safe place to be unsafe. Life commentary and dialogue from a biblical, logical, cultural, and comical perspective.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Honestly Speaking. Welcome back to part 2 of our discussion on singleness. The 7 things that single people don't have to be bitter about, ashamed of, or desperate for. Before we get into today's discussion, I just want to ask you, how are you doing? Like, sincerely, how are you doing? It's Mental Health Awareness Month. A lot has been going on in our nation. Rest in peace to Brother Aubrey, and may God comfort his family. I know firsthand how it is to be overwhelmed in today's time. In fact, yesterday, I found myself with nothing on but a sock and some flip-flops, trying to hurry up and check into a Zoom meeting. Tripping. Make sure you take care of yourself, because self-care is essential. And a part of self-care is having good dialogue. So, let's get into this good dialogue. So, as per usual, we need to start off with a reminder. This is just my opinion. The aim of Honestly Speaking is to have dialogue. It doesn't mean we have to agree about everything. In fact, I may offend you, and it's okay that you may offend me. It's just a matter of being respectful of one another. In reviewing last week, we've already introduced the first 3 points on this list: status, standards, and personality. And we've even spoken about our vocabulary list. Today's new vocabulary word is intersection. Intersection means an overlap of 2 different things. Now, it's not to be confused with intersectionality, although there is a correlation, there is a connection. Shout out to Kimberly Crenshaw. Intersectionality is where you have an overlap of 2 different social categories that have to do with some systems of oppression. Now, we will talk about that, but that's not in this video. Our past. Now, I don't know about you, but it's very easy for me to get stuck in the past. And most of the time, I can get stuck doing 1 or 2 things, either reminiscing or ruminating. As it pertains to reminiscing, I can get stuck in the past, things that made me feel successful or the things that just made me feel good. I remember my first boyfriend. He was Italian. His nickname was White Joey. That's what we called him. It wasn't another Joey, but it just seemed appropriate. I remember being MVP of the basketball team, the softball team, and the tennis team. Or we could ruminate. Now, ruminating is usually when you're rehearsing over and over again the things that you did wrong in the past. I remember that one time when I got so drunk that I was singing to a dog. Did I really French kiss that boy through the mailbox? I realized that both of these are unhealthy. Biologically speaking, one of the main reasons why we even have the ability to recall on our past is so that we can learn from it and not get stuck there, either rehearsing our past successes, becoming armchair quarterbacks, or constantly ruminating over our failures and dooming ourselves in our present. Both will keep us from moving forward and will waste time. I have to ask myself, where am I now? Not only does this question bring me to the present, it also gives me the opportunity to take an honest assessment of what's going on in my life and to see if my projected self matches my real self. Oftentimes we can think we're somewhere that we're not. The Bible talks about this too. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 12 states, "Therefore, let anyone who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall." I think about how much time and resources I've wasted just because I wasn't willing to take heed and be honest with myself. In this post-truth society, we often think that truth is relative, when many times that's not the case. In my desire to grow, I often settle for simple change. Not everything that changes grows, but everything that grows definitely changes. Like, I can say that I want to work on losing weight, or I can actually begin to work out. Sometimes we want things, but we're not in that stage of change that brings about a particular actual change. Sometimes I can say I want stuff, but in reality, I don't want it bad enough. Or better yet, I want it like I want to get my law degree. And I'm not applying to any school. So do I really want it? Or do I think it would just be nice to have? Am I teachable? Do I learn from my past, or do I just keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Where are my patterns? And what do I need to mourn? What aspects of my past do I need to sincerely let go of in order to move on? There are some things in our past where we're going to need professional help to deal with. It's not going to be easy to just get over. That's not how life works. We don't get over. We either learn to live with or go through. When people tell you get over it, that's just unrealistic. So sometimes we need a professional, and there's no shame in that. And sometimes we need a friend. Speaking of which, friends and family. Now, this particular category could have its own series, but I'm going to try to keep it quick. I realized we all need a tribe, and we all come from somewhere, which brings me to a rant. We're not meant to live alone. Single people can think that being in a relationship will keep them from feeling alone or remove loneliness, but as someone who has a lot of friends who are married people feel alone too. One of the worst ways to feel alone is if you're surrounded by people that you love and that love you and you still feel alone. That's an actual thing. So don't believe that lie. Singleness does not equal loneliness. Just saying. There are going to be lonely times, but that's typical, and everybody goes through that. And as it pertains to our family and friends, well, let's just say family, because our family is made up of two components. It's the family of your biology, and it's the family of your choosing. And friends are almost seen as an extended part of the family. Friendship does have different levels and layers. For me, my close friends are like family. In fact, I don't have any biological sisters. However, I have some female relationships where we're so close, I call them my sisters. And I do things with their family as well. In fact, I'll go to one of my sisters' family reunions so often, I'm in more pictures than she is. And then there's the biological family. Biological family is kind of different because you choose to be in a relationship with your friends. We don't choose to be related to our family, but we do choose to be in relationship with our family members. Both family members and friendships have to have boundaries. Sometimes you have friends and family member relationships that are just toxic. That's where the two questions come in. Are they healthy? And do I need to set up boundaries? And depending on the relationship, the boundaries are going to look different. But the key is to make sure that you stay healthy and safe. There are a few questions that I have that I ask myself to see if the relationship is healthy. Do I feel guilt or fear in this relationship? Can we support each other? Do they hold me accountable and call me out when I fall short? And can I talk to them about my shortcomings and my past? I found out the hard way that not everybody is worth your trash. The things of our past that we actually feel bad about or are still learning to deal with is actually precious information. And not everyone is mature enough to handle it. Not everyone is going to support the person you used to be, or even the person that you are. Now with occupation, sometimes you'll have people in your life that seems like that they are disgusted or even intimidated by their understanding of your current occupation or your education. This is ridiculous. I spoke before about the word nuance, and this is where intersection comes in along with nuance, because a lot of this comes from our misunderstanding and false correlation or mix-up between preferences and standards and our understanding of character. Sometimes people make a false leap between the character of a person and what the person actually does, but that's not the case. Sometimes we go past what we need because it doesn't come in the package that we want. That's why it's important to focus more on character than potential. When I focus on the actual character that people do have, I don't settle for the glimpses of potential that they may or may not develop. This does not mean you don't encourage someone as they develop who it is that they are. It just means that personally, it's okay to have standards, and our standards should be based on character as well as value. That's what helps propel me forward. Which brings me to the last topic, hopes and dreams. I'm not going to get too much into specifics about hopes and dreams because it varies depending on the person. And this is where I have to bring up that vocabulary word, introspection. It's okay for me to dream about having my own family or even being in a relationship. It's okay for me to have dreams that have nothing to do with singleness. But where are these hopes and dreams coming from? Are they coming from my deficiencies or desires? Or are they coming from society and things that I was conditioned to think I had to have in order to feel a sense of completion? What happens if these dreams or hopes don't get fulfilled? Does that mean that the rest of my life I'll be incomplete? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think so. My being whole or living a full life does not depend on what other people say, and it doesn't require other people to do certain things. I can still have hope. Going back to the other vocabulary word, contentment. It's okay for me to have dreams, and it's also understandable for me to mourn some of those dreams if they're not met. But I don't have to discount them as being silly because of where I am currently in my life. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that there are times when your dreams should be just given up on? Or do you think there are times when your dreams should be altered so that they can be realized either now in your present or in your future? Let me know what you think. So that's it for now, folks. I will revisit the topic of singleness again, but this was a lot. We've talked about 7 things that single people don't have to be ashamed of, bitter about, or desperate for. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I missed. Let me know if you agree or disagree.
Now don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can go to Honest_Leigh, Leigh_speaking on Instagram, or Honest-Leigh Leigh on Facebook. And remember, as long as it's up to you, put God first, love everybody, and definitely take care of yourself. Peace.